It's not just the strength, mobility, control as well. There is still stuff that you can work on, kind of regardless of where you are. I don't do yoga, but like it's a good one. It definitely helps. Basically, can you do pull-ups? Yo, what's going on, guys? Rhys here from More Than Lifting with the More Than Lifting podcast. Conversations about calisthenics, bodyweight training, gymnastics, all that good stuff. I'm Rhys, a personal trainer from the UK and founder of morethanlifting.com. And in this episode of the podcast, we're going to talk about where you should start with calisthenics. Yeah, how to get started wherever you are. Alright, and that's basically what we're going to be talking about, because everyone asks how to get started. And although you can say, oh, you need to do this, you need to be able to do this, you need to be able to do this, like that doesn't help a lot of people. And often when people want to start calisthenics, they want to do a particular skill. Yeah, so like I don't know, like a muscle up, say. So that's why they're thinking, oh, I want to do calisthenics because I want to be able to do a muscle up or a planche or whatever, a front lever. Yeah, so really that's your goal, you know. Like if that's what your goal is, then you might have, you know, a couple of months training ahead of you. You might have like 6 months training ahead of you. It really depends on where you are right now. All right. And whenever you talk to a coach, or a PT or whatever, and you're like, oh yeah, how do I want to do this, but I don't know how to get started. And they say, well, you need to start where you are. All right. So it's true. That's the thing. It seems like a bit of a cliche kind of useless answer, but the truth is, like, you have to start where you can't start where you aren't. Yeah, so maybe you want to start doing lever training straight away, but if you can't get into that position, like even a tuck position, you can't start lever training yet. You know what I mean? It's just that simple. All right, so you need to come up with a strategy, and that's basically what we're going to talk about. So when you get started with calisthenics, you need to kind of take inventory of where you are. So like how strong you are, how like what exercises you can do or can't do, like where your weak points are and stuff like that. And that sounds really complicated, but it's actually quite easy. All right, basically, can you do pull-ups? Can you do a pull-up yet? Or are you able to do a pull-up? Like, have you been training for a while? Like, have you ever done handstands before? Like, are these things you think that, yeah, I could probably do some push-ups or some rows, or maybe I can do some pull-ups or whatever. Like, that's all right. That's where you start. If you're on push-ups and rows, if you can't do pull-ups and you can't do dips, can't do leg raises, then you start with your push-ups and your rows. You start with that beginner's tricep. Go back to that episode and listen to that. But basically, it's tuck raises is the only thing I mentioned yet. So you got your rows and your push-ups, your pull and your push respectively, and then you got your core exercise to help build those shoulders and that core strength, which is your tuck raise. Yeah, so that's kind of the beginner's tricep. That's one option. Yeah, then if you can do pulls, then probably the most likely thing you're going to have to work on is leg raises, because that's the harder of the three, really, for most people in terms of actually learning it. It's not necessarily the most difficult exercise, but it's one people have a weak spot for, like after pulls. So maybe it's the leg raises you have to work on. And you might think, oh, I don't need to do like toe tap leg raises to do a front lever. Like, you might argue that you don't. Yeah, but the benefits you'll get from doing that, like all the core strength, all the shoulder strength, grip strength, mobility, like endurance, hanging from the bar and working your shoulders and your core and your hips, and like that does help. All right, so yeah, you could say, oh, if I do pulls, I could just go to a tuck lever and then work my way out. Yeah, fair enough, you could, but you're not going to get very far very quickly, because you're not doing the exercises that can actually help you. Yeah. The supportive exercises, you know, the not just progressions. But yeah, so like what you need to do is work out where you're looking at. Like I've already mentioned, you probably need to build strength to learn skills. Yeah, so that's often one of people's first goals, is to get used to what you need to do often is get competent at these kind of low-level strength movement pattern exercises, so that you can build the strength across your whole body that you need to learn these skills. All right, and that's where like the foundation workout comes in. So if you go to morethanlifting.com, you can get the Bodyweight Calisthenics Foundation workout. It's Bodyweight or Calisthenics, so it depends which page you look at, I guess, or something like that, what page is on that you see the link. But yeah, basically, it's a total body workout. It's all these exercises. Yeah, the foundation tricep, that comes first, and you got your beginner's tricep at the end for finishers. We do them, but you can just do one or the other. You know what I mean? But It's not all just strength though. It's not all just strength. All right, and that's one thing that a lot of people are confused about as well, like, because often you think, oh, I can't do leg raises, so my strength's holding me back. Or I can't do my muscle up yet, so my strength's holding me back. I can't do my front lever, my strength's holding me back. It's not necessarily true, right? You might have to build the mobility to learn the skills as well. Like flexibility and mobility is like a big problem just in general, I think, with the population, especially people like our age, millennials, or, because we spent all our lives sitting down playing PlayStation or like Sega when we were kids or whatever, you know what I mean? We've been playing games and shit. Okay, so I was very active anyway when I was younger, but I still spent enough time sitting down for it to cause postural problems, which it does. It affects everyone. All right, so mobility, yeah, and flexibility are important to be working on for your general health, things like yoga. It doesn't have to be yoga. I don't do yoga, but like it's a good one. It definitely helped. But just stretching regularly, working on your shoulder mobility, like your scapular exercises, that would do your stability and a bit of strength as well. Wrist mobility is very important. Hip mobility, so that means you can't have particularly tight hamstrings. You need to be able to straighten your legs, you know what I mean? Point your toes and stuff like that, especially for things like L-sits, So yeah, that's another thing. It's not just the strength, mobility, control as well, and stability across your body. Yeah, and so that's another thing you might have to work on at some point, if not right from the start. And I recommend that's what you do to get started, because if you wait until later, it's going to be harder. It's going to be more frustrating, and it's going to just set you back. It's going to hold you back, and you'll get annoyed about other stuff, but it'll be the mobility that's the problem. Potentially. I mean, I don't know for you specifically, but it's likely. With a lot of people, that's the issue. Then the next one then is you might need to lose weight. So this is a bit of a kind of taboo subject, isn't it? It's hard to sit here and not say you might be a fat cunt. But I mean, I don't mean necessarily massively obese, but you might need to just lose a little bit of weight, because it'll make you lighter, it'll make you healthier, it'll make you less likely to get like cardiac diseases and stuff like that and other problems just later in life. So you don't want to be fat anyway. But I'm not saying that you're overweight. I'm not saying that you're massively overweight anyway. I'm not saying you need to be super skinny to do calisthenics, because you don't. But it might be something you need to work on. If you get any of my programs, we got HIIT training in it. Yeah, because I don't like people doing long cardio sessions or anything like that. That's a big problem. Yeah, a lot of people go, oh, I want to lose some weight, get in the gym, and they spend ages running or cycling or rowing, and yeah, that's all good, but like, it's boring as fuck. You want to get in and out. You want it to be efficient. You want it to be effective. Yeah, so we always get people doing HIIT training, high intensity interval training. If you don't know about it, it is the worst thing ever, but it is super effective. Yeah, and it takes like 15-20 minutes, including your warm-up, and you'll be crawling into the shower instead of walking because it's that bad. But it's, like I say, it's super efficient and it's effective. All right, but disregarding all of that stuff, all right, because I've just gone on loads of little things, disregarding all that, there is still stuff that you can work on kind of regardless of where you are, which is great. So the first one is like handstands. You can start learning handstands. You can do some handstand training. Okay, it might take you ages, and if you are super overweight, it might be actually not such a good idea for you to be trying to put all that weight on your hands necessarily straight away, or without some like other training. And weight can also affect hanging as well. How good you are at hanging, how easy it is to hang, how how quickly your wrists get fatigued. Anyway, we've gone off the weight thing, all right? So handstands, you could be learning handstands. Most people can start learning handstands right now. And you're never too old or too young to learn handstands. Think back to my story about Ray. Ray can do handstands. All right, so he can't quite just kick up into handstands, but you know what I mean? He's developed quickly in just a few short weeks. All right, and it's not based on his strength, and it's not based on his previous history, which is really important. Two things that hold people back. All right, so handstands completely possible. You can be learning to L-sit. All right, now L-sits, they're more technical than they look, and they take like mobility and flexibility and stuff, like I've already said. But it takes the mobility and flexibility, strength, stability, all that stuff that we've just spoken about, but it's something you can start working on now. You can work on it at home, down the gym, whatever, in little increments. Basic exercises, basic core exercises are going to help develop that. Basic shoulder mobility and stability exercises are going to help that. Yeah, so stuff anyone can be doing will help. All right. Yeah, so then next one's push-up variations. Right, easy, I know. Even if you can't do like full push-ups, yeah, even if you struggle to do that, all right, you can still do some push-up variations. And you're thinking, oh my God, you're crazy. How can I do push-up variations? Can't do push-ups. You can do progressions, so like knee push-ups when you're just on your knees instead of all the way down to your feet. You can do like raised ones where your hands are raised, and you can be working those progressions still. You can still do grasshopper push-ups, like raised, which is where you, or Spider-Man push-ups even. So Spider-Man's where you bring in your one knee out to that elbow, so your right knee goes out the side to your right elbow, and the grasshopper one is when your knee comes underneath to the other elbow. All right, and you can do them raised, like I say, or you can't really do them on your knees, but you can do arches on your knees or something like that. So you do have options with it. Then the next one's just basic core exercises. You got loads of options with core exercises, from just like planks, straight arm planks, elbow planks, one arm planks, side planks, like plenty of options. But then you got things like your flutter kicks and tuck raises or hanging raises, or lay-in leg lifts. They're really good as well. And especially if you've got someone trying to push your feet down to the ground, like you can do them anywhere. Yeah, so core exercises, like hollow body stuff as well, you can do that. Right, hollow body is something you should be working on because it helps train that muscle activation, the correct body tension for you to be able to do the levers, your flags, like everything. Basically going to handstands even. You wouldn't believe it, but handstands. All right, then another one you can do is bridges. And bridges can take a lot of training because they take a lot of mobility, especially like back flexion, like spinal flexion, where you bend backwards, and shoulder mobility as well, because you're literally lifting your arms right back. But you know, there's something you can be working on now. There's something you can be that massively help you. They're just so good for your posterior chain, everything down your back. Yeah, and you can be working on them right now, like in your living room, no dramas. The last one I'm going to say, just because I'm just going down a list now, it seems like last one's crow stands. Like crow stands is easy, you can do them. They're quick to learn, which is a really good thing about crow stands. You can, like in a session, you can learn to do a crow stand from nothing, from never even looking at them before. You can learn to balance on your elbows, on your knees. And yeah, it's really good. It's something you can train. There are loads of variations you can do, various difficulties. You can keep pushing yourself with crow stands. Like I think that crow stands kind of get ignored, but they're actually really good. I think they're kind of overused in yoga and underused in calisthenics. Yeah. Yeah, so it doesn't matter where you are. You always have options in terms of like skill, like actually learning skills. You have options in terms of strength training, like hitting that foundation, working on progression exercises and stuff like that. So no matter where you are, there's always something you can be doing if you want to be doing calisthenics, okay? If you have to lose weight, you don't have to be doing HIIT training every day. You just do like 2 HIIT training sessions a week and then do push-ups and stuff, you know, or like leg raises or whatever you fancy. Enjoy yourself. Working on that mobility as well is important, but you don't need to go too crazy. Like I can't do the splits. I can put my hands flat on the floor. Like I can bend over and like not touch my toes, but actually plant my hands flat. And that's pretty good for like press strength, like a handstand press, but like really you don't have to go much further than that unless you really want to. But yeah, so guys, I'm rambling now, so that is it for this episode. If you like what you heard, as always, give us a subscribe, rate and review, share us with your mates and training partners. And yeah, and like I said in the last episode as well, if you want to get on to the beta testing crew for some of the programs I got coming out in the next couple of months, go to morethanlifting.com/beta, just BETA, Bravo, Echo, Tango, Alpha. And I can't believe I just reeled that off easy. I always mess one of them up, you know what I mean? Yeah, otherwise, go to morethanlifting.com/podcast to check out loads of stuff. Oh, the 100 push-up challenge as well. If you aren't on the 100 push-up challenge yet, like, get over there now, because there's loads of exercises you can do there, definitely. And but none of them are easy anymore. And yeah, if you want to reach out to me for anything, guys, I'm lifting everywhere, but the best place is like just a DM on Instagram. Reach out to me and we can have a chat about stuff. And otherwise, I will catch you in the next one. As always, keep in touch with yourself, and I'll speak to you then.